Claudia, congratulations. The first event of the rebrand and the new launch is in the books. I guess your initial impressions of what you saw out there tonight.
I think we are all happy with what we're seeing here. The goal, Jiu-Jitsu has been around for so long, but somebody needed to come in and kind of organize the way we watch Jiu-Jitsu. It was very hard for somebody that don't understand Jiu-Jitsu to turn on a TV and spend hours watching Jiu-Jitsu because it's very methodical and not very exciting the way we see out there. But we spent a lot of time bringing the best minds in the game to understand how to make Jiu-Jitsu exciting. And Dana, Hunter, Techi, they understand business. They understand what people want to see, and we spent a lot of time making sure we built a product that people are excited about, because these athletes are amazing athletes. I started my career in Jiu-Jitsu, and I had to migrate to MMA because I didn't have an opportunity to build a career of Jiu-Jitsu. And now little kids, even adults that changed their lives through Jiu-Jitsu, they'll see a product here that is exciting. But I think in the end of the day, everybody wins. When the UFC got into Jiu-Jitsu, and this is the first UFC BJJ, we'll see a lot more people training Jiu-Jitsu. We'll see a lot more people changing their lives through Jiu-Jitsu, and this is our goal here. We want to bring this sport to the masses, and we have, so many MMA fans that want to train MMA, but it's kind of dangerous to train MMA. Now, when they come here and get to see Jiu-Jitsu, like that, it's an exciting sport that really changed lives. They can go to a Jiu-Jitsu academy and start training Jiu-Jitsu and change their lives through Jiu-Jitsu. It changed my life and changed the life of so many people I know. So I think this is the beginning of a new era in Jiu-Jitsu, and I'm very excited for the future of this sport.
The athletes kind of echoed that too. I'm just curious what you thought, right? Because, the UFC doesn't exist without Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right? But as you said, a lot of people haven't gotten into it. But the athletes were all out there saying, we know we have to be exciting. We know we have to attack. We can't do what we've done for years. So what did you think about them kind of embracing that message and what they did out there tonight?
This is what I tell them every time I talk to them, because I started in Jiu-Jitsu, and it's very methodical, slow. If you practice Jiu-Jitsu, you can watch, but if you don't, it's very hard to watch Jiu-Jitsu. And we tell them all the time, if you want to come here, this is a company that, builds a lot of entertainment for people, and you got to be entertaining. People have to want to watch you, and I think that's what Jiu-Jitsu needed, a little more of organization and attention and a product that really, really can sell, and people can sit back home and watch and be excited about it.
Yeah. What do you think about the bowl itself, Riley? You coming from traditional Jiu-Jitsu, always on a mat, to have this new competition surface kind of changes the game a little bit. What did you think about, the setup?
I think it's very, you see a lot of innovation in what we did, but when you look at the results of the matches inside the bowl, we had 90% submission rate today, right? We don't see that anywhere else. It makes Jiu-Jitsu exciting. And if you take a look at MMA, the most boring part of MMA is the wall fighting. The most boring part of Jiu-Jitsu is the wait time. So we spent a lot of time understanding how to remove that from Jiu-Jitsu. So there's no walls here. If you go to the corners, you're going to fall, and that's where Jiu-Jitsu begins. So we really did spend a lot of time trying to understand how to build a stage to make Jiu-Jitsu exciting, and there's no hard corners. You're not going to see the hard, boring wall fighting in here. And when you get to the bowl, and even on the leg locks, when you try to run, there's nowhere to go. So we're going to see a lot more finishes here.
I love it. Last thing for me, as you said, this was kind of the start, organization, growth, but where do you see this? How many events could you do a year? How many athletes would you, how big are we talking about making this thing?
We're going to make it big, and when I have conversations with Dana and Hunter, I see that these guys, they don't play to lose. I remember I asked Dana one question. He asked me to do something. I was like, what is the next plan if I can't do that? And he said, I'm not a plan B type of a guy. So we make things happen here in the UFC. And I'm learning so much about business. You know, I have my businesses outside of the UFC, but this is a massive company that is teaching me so much about so many things in life. But, you know, being around Dana and Hunter, I'm really seeing where this can go. And the same mindset I had in fighting, I'm putting into this, and I'm making sure, you know, we will grow to the level that Jiu-Jitsu deserves. We are doing 6 events this year, and we don't have the schedule for next year yet, but maybe 10.
Claudia, right here. When Dana first launched Power Slap, every scrum he would talk about like slight changes he would want to make moving forward, either production or scoring or whatever. Is there anything that from this first episode, this first event, that you would want to change or tweak slightly for the next one?
For sure, we are all learning, you know, and this is UFC BJJ 1. We see a lot of things that we can change, you know, and we ask Dana all the time, what else can we do to make this more exciting? And you know, you can see the environment in there is super fun. Everybody was having so much fun watching this. So we actually made Jiu-Jitsu fun today, and a lot of people will be able to watch Jiu-Jitsu from now on. And I think we need to make a few tweaks on the bowl. We got to make it more efficient when it comes to opening the door, and a couple other things that we are looking at that we can make it more efficient.
How long before you think you could take this on the road? Like if you go international, or you like Dana's going to Power Slap in New Orleans, like could you do this before UFC pay-per-views moving forward?
That's the goal. We want to go on the road with the UFC on Thursdays. We have UFC BJJ, Fridays, Power Slap, and Saturdays, the UFC. This company keeps growing, and we keep building amazing products, and that's the goal for next year.
Is UFC BJJ strictly going to be like grapplers, or can we see maybe UFC athletes come over and do a one-off match?
Yeah, I think when you are in this environment, you kind of can tell the difference between MMA grapplers and Jiu-Jitsu competitors. It's just a different pace. It's not that MMA grapplers are not good at Jiu-Jitsu. It's just a different pace because they have to train so many other types of martial arts, and it takes away from being a specialist in Jiu-Jitsu, you know. So we saw Talita Alencar today. She did good. It was an amazing match against Cassia Moura. It's just a different pace, right? And if we do bring MMA fighters here, maybe we'll do MMA fighter versus MMA fighter. You know, we want to keep this sport pure, and we believe in the talent of Jiu-Jitsu. There's, you know, when I think about back home, you know, in the Amazon, in the favelas of Brazil, there's so many kids training Jiu-Jitsu, waiting for an opportunity like that to change their lives and come out here and put on a show to really change their lives. So the answer is we are still learning about what's going to happen and what the rules are going to be, but we are open to bring MMA fighters there that can put on exciting fights in Jiu-Jitsu.
Claudia, just one more to your right at the back here. I missed the start, so apologies if you've had this one already. In your fighting career, you made it all the way to a world title fight, which is obviously a huge achievement in that sport. How does this compare in terms of an achievement for you personally, having moved across as an executive as such and have launched this league now and put on the first successful event?
This is better. I think, you know, when you are in the middle of an athletic career, it's so hard to see beyond your athletic career because you're so focused on winning and working on being the best. But it's such an individual sport. When you win, you get money, you can help other people like I did. I got to help my family and give my family a great life. But I feel like this is winning with the combat sports community. I didn't win today, Jiu-Jitsu won today. And so many people that can change their lives through Jiu-Jitsu, which we see over and over again, this happening, will be able to go back home and practice a martial art that can change their lives, you know. So I want to be in the business that change lives, and this is definitely a business that change lives.
Thank you.
Yeah, just one quick question. So do you have a timeline for the expansion? I'm talking about new weight classes. Has this been discussed? And then we just saw the ladies get down tonight. Is there a title and a title opportunity for the females as well? And what's the timeline on all of this?
For sure, before UFC BJJ, we were building jiu-jitsu in the UFC through UFC Fight Pass. So we had an event called the UFC Fight Pass Invitational, and we are actually building a whole development program in there. And we have really good female competitors there too. At some of our cards, we have 3-4 matches for the girls, and it's so nice to see girls really go at it, and we love that. So right now we are building the 125-pound division and the 145-pound division for the girls, and then we are building 6 divisions for the boys, and that's what we're gonna do for now. And next year we're gonna talk about what we're gonna do when it comes to expansion, but this is our goal for now.